Transition from high school to post-secondary life for students earning a certificate of completion in Maryland. Today we're going to learn what transition is, when it occurs, who's responsible for the transition planning, why do we need it, and where does it happen? What is transition? Transition is defined as a coordinated process focused on improving academic and functional achievement to facilitate a child's movement from school to post-school activities. Post-school activities include post-secondary education, vocational education, employment, including supported employment and volunteer work, continuing and adult education, adult services of a variety of kinds, independent living, and community participation. Who receives transition services and when do they receive them? All students with IEPs from age 14 to 21 receive transition services on their IEP. Supported employment, independence and supported lifestyle, financial security, safety, health, relationships, housing supports, self-advocacy are all things that you dream about when you're dreaming about your future, and transition can help you create the life you want. Basics. Transition planning begins at age 14. A transition facilitator is then added to your team. A transition assessment is conducted each year by the transition facilitator and or the case manager, and it's an informal assessment generally. Post-secondary goals are identified and activities for transition are defined. In middle school, we focus on career awareness, in-school vocational skills, and community-based instruction. In high school, we focus on continued career awareness, supported enclave opportunities, means work outside the building in a group, more community-based instruction with age-appropriate experiences, and post-secondary transition awareness, applying for agencies, transition fairs and expos, and site visits all happen in this period. The first step is the assessment. A good transition assessment will determine areas of interest and skills, strengths, preferences, interests, and needs. The transition assessment can be ongoing throughout the school year. It includes self-awareness and self-advocacy. It strengthens the student's decision-making process. It informs the development of post-secondary goals. It may include surveys, situational hands-on tasks like job shadowing, career interest surveys, and work-based learning evaluations. It can be formal, but it's more frequently informal assessments that are ongoing. Some examples of activities you'll see on your student's transition activities page on the IEP. Applying for benefits, work-based learning, agency linkage to the Developmental Disabilities Administration, the Division of Rehabilitation Services, Behavioral Health Agency, or the Department of Labor. Vocational learning, community-based instruction, financial planning, resume writing, college applications, self-advocacy skills. Who is at the IEP for transition? A student, parent, IEP chair, the special education teacher, the general education teacher, and related services, speech and language, pathologists, physical therapists, occupational therapists, nursing, you may have vision services or deaf services, a whole bunch of different related services. And the transition facilitator, who starts to be at the meeting at that point. And adult agency providers may be invited. More about the agency linkage. DDA is the Developmental Disabilities Administration. It funds a variety of services and waivers. primarily certificate students, but not always. DOORS is the Division of Rehabilitation Services. It funds services to increase employment for people with disabilities. It has two arms. One is PREETS, Pre-Employment Training Services, you get when you're in school, and VR, which is a service that goes on throughout life, not just for school students. VR means vocational rehabilitation. BHA is the Behavioral Health Administration. It funds mental health agencies for students with emotional disabilities. DLLR is the Department of Labor Licensing and Regulation, and it's primarily for diploma students who are seeking work and work training, but it can also serve people who are getting certificates. It's an alphabet soup. DDA, DOORS, CCS, SSI, SSDI, MA, VR, PREETS. DDA is the Developmental Disabilities Administration. DOORS is the Division of Rehabilitation Services. CCS is a coordinator of community services. SSI is Supplemental Security Income, which is different from SSDI, Social Security Disability Income. MA is Medical Assistance, which is Maryland's program that is Medicaid. VR means Vocational Rehabilitation, and PREETS means Pre-Employment Transition Services. Good things for parents to do during the transition period is share your knowledge of your child's interests and abilities with the team. Be proactive. Monitor plans to ensure all transition activities are addressed in a timely manner, utilizing the transition timeline as a resource. You'll find that in the transition planning guide that you get at every IEP year. Apply for community-based agencies, apply for SSI, apply for mobility and an MVA ID card as soon as your child is at the eligible age for these things. Encourage your child's independence and community awareness. And help. Get to know the helpers in your school and your community, the people who are there to help you with this process. Timeline is very important. You can find a timeline in the back appendix of the transition planning guide that you receive every year at the IEP time. And here's some really important stages within the timeline. In the first year of transition, when your child is 14 or 15, you apply to DDA and DOORS for PREETS. You can attend transition fairs, start to gather knowledge. Age 16 and 17 is a good year to get an ID card and apply for mobility. At age 18, you make a choice of a coordinator of community services. You can apply for SSI and medical assistance as an adult. Age 19 and 20 is a good time to apply for DOORS VR services, even if you're still getting PREETS. And start to shop around for providers of services, adult agencies and things. And apply for a housing voucher. Even if you don't think your child is ready to move out of your house, there's a long waiting list for housing vouchers, and it's a good thing to get on the list early. At age 21, you're working with your CCS representative, applying to providers, and making your final decisions about where you're going to go at graduation time. It's good to invite your providers to your final IEP meetings. So it's good to know these things, early in the school year. If you have questions, you can ask these people. These are all people in the transition team, and there's others. Each school has transition facilitators assigned. You can find out who's assigned to your child's school and contact that person. My name is Ann Kennedy. I'm a transition resource teacher and a facilitator, and my email address is akennedy3@bcps.org. Feel free to email me with any questions. Thank you.